It's not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame me. Like you have no options. I ain't take your options. Now I'm not the problem. Man, that's on you, yeah. You've been terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong. I knew you lost your mind when you dropped that bomb. Girl, are you crazy? Yeah, you must be crazy. I've been thinking.
Well, first of all, listen, it's interesting about all these young guys today. They never call on us and say, hey, thanks for the kind word and telling me how great a player I am. But when they play like crap and we call them out, we don't know what we're talking about. Listen, I'm easy to find.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all staying safe. It's Nathan back with another video presentation, Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. This is Season 10, Episode 11. In this episode, we are talking about the Maryland Terrapins. But before we get into that, there's a few things I would like to say up front. So you should have by now seen the projected 53-man rosters for the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington Commanders. Put a video up about the Baltimore Orioles and their success they've had this season. This episode will go live later on today. And then I've got two more videos in reaction now that the 53-man roster has been set. My instant reactions to both the Washington Commanders and the Ravens 53-man roster. And Brendan Potts will be back on the podcast after game 2, just to check in, see how the four teams are doing and our reactions to the awards. So, Maryland football. It's no secret. I'm a Maryland Terrapin fan. Since 2010, we've had our ups and downs. Last year, I was definitely showed that. And we finished the year 7-6. When we won our first bowl game since 2010, after destroying Virginia Tech in the Pinstripe Bowl. Unfortunately, those 6 losses came from the Big Ten. Painfully.
Relationship with your children.
My God.
Iowa, Ohio State, Minnesota, Penn State, Michigan State, and Michigan itself. This year, we have 9 conference games like last year, and they're projecting is like less than 35% for us to win some of those Big Ten games. The returns that are coming back, like I said, 2021 was the start, but the returns on the offensive side of the ball. So you've got Talia Tagovailoa, Raheem Jarrett, Dante Domenis, Jalen Duncan, Spencer Anderson, Mason Lunsford, Alec Harris, and Jahari Branch. I think these guys are the key to be for the success on the offense for the Terrapins. When I look at the guys that did come back. I'm gonna start with Talia. I think Talia Tungavaloa for last year, the record that he broke, and I just think that the potential he has as a quarterback. If Maryland is going to go forward, it starts with him. Like he has his flaws, but I think he has shown that he's one of the best. He's arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Last year he threw for over 3,800 yards. That was the 10th best throughout the nation. And then he shattered the single season school record. Like, I think Talia has, I feel like this is his year. The entire starting offensive line is coming back. And then when you look at not only his receiver core too, because arguably Maryland has a good receiving core. Like, you're getting Dominus back after, he had that gruesome injury. That's one. And then, before that injury, Dominus had 3 touchdowns and found for 500 yards. And that was, at the time, the most in the Big Ten. Now, Coach Locksley said he's expected to start. But we'll see. They'll probably just work him in for the time being. But he's definitely going to be Talia's number one weapon. And I'm just going to say it right here. Talia Tungavaloa will be a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Guaranteed.
And then when I look at the offense, another thing I've noticed is that there's more depth, particularly at running back. Like, I feel like this year for Maryland in particular, they got Kobe McDonald, Ramon Henby, Chalian, Famatu, Antoine Linton II, and then Ramon Brown. So you've got 2 redshirt freshmen, a sophomore, senior, and a freshman. I think this year you might see. I don't know who could be the potential starting running back, because last year Fleet Davis was our guy. He had 128 attempts. I think he ran for over almost 5.5 yards per carry and had 8 touchdowns. Perry Boone, Isaiah Jacobs, they went to the transfer portal, and Fleet Davis, he graduated. So that's some production you've lost on the running side of the ball. But I think you could potentially see a committee. Like, I think you've got a potential with McDonald, Littleton, and Hamby right now, because Chalian, I consider him now he's a senior, so by default he's going to be that veteran for these guys. And I believe he was a walk-on, so he's definitely going to bring some experience. Now, I think also too, when you look at Mr. Ramon Brown, he's a freshman, so don't be surprised you see him out there. I think getting him here was key, but I think as a freshman, you want to help him transition from high school to college, and especially on the college speed, and pick up the offense. I think give it next year, I think he'll be a fantastic weapon for the offense. But I've noticed that when you look at the running back position, the last 2 seasons, our record was above 500, and the talent was there. We had Jake Funk, NFL, Ty Johnson, Anthony McFarland, Trey Edmonds. They've made key contributions, and for the most part, they're doing fairly decent in the NFL. Last year, we had the 10th best rushing offense. I think it was like 136 rushing yards per carry. And then we had the 4th most touchdowns. So I think that it starts with the offensive line, which is key. Like, I think what I've also noticed is what Coach Locksley's doing. He's also building that second offensive line, because some of those guys, I think they got 1 or 2. I think they got a couple. I think they got a senior, a couple juniors. So it's going to be a little different probably next year. But I think for right now, I'm going to say that it's going to be a running back by committee for sure. The only also noticing thing on the offensive side was Marcus Fleming. He entered the transfer portal because he is facing a second-degree assault charge from back in June. He assaulted one of the track and field someone on the track and field team, and he came from Nebraska, and he only appeared in 8 games. He had 3 starts, and he didn't really do much. Now, also too, I think getting Mr. Jacob Copeland, I thought that was an absolute steal. Now, I actually like that for the most part because I'm a fan of Jacob Copeland. I think this is a good opportunity for him as he's getting ready for the season. I still think he can contribute, and I think he will be the number 2 wide receiver. So I'm not mad at that because he's a 4-star. He was a 4-star. He was a 5-star coming out of Florida, and I think that could be a offense that I wouldn't sleep on. So I like that. And then I look at Raheem Jarrett. I think he's definitely going to be a key factor as well. So when you look at that offense, you got Copeland, Jarrett, and Dante. Those 3, along with now your new running back, your returning offensive line, and Talia, that's an offense I think most defenses will have to respect, particularly in the Big Ten. Now, when you look at the defensive side of the ball, we had some of these same guys come back. Mosiah Kite, Bennett, Dante Banks, Jacote, those guys are back. I think Bennett is he's my key. He's the guy I'm looking at in terms of just being that vet. Like, don't get me wrong, Tahib Still and Banks, they definitely have shown flashes, especially to lead that secondary, because now we have 2 new safeties, and he did leave all Power 5 players and pass breakups last year. So he's definitely going to be the key. I look at we got a new freshman, Jashawn Barham. Like, these are things that I'm liking from what I'm seeing. I mean, 4-star recruit. And I mean, it's going to be a new defense. It's under, we got Brian Williams as our new defensive coordinator. And the one thing when you hire a new coach, it's a new system. So it's curious to see how they're going to maintain their consistency. But I think the biggest thing is I got a lot of experience that's coming back, and that's going to make a definite impact. The defensive line, I think, is also key this year for the Terps, because again, mostly everybody's coming back, which I'm fond of, because you've got a lot of depth. I mean, you've got a mixture of I think we have four redshirted seniors. I know we have an actual senior, junior, and the majority of them are sophomores and freshmen. So when you have like Mosiah Kite, Greg China Rose, Amani Fanu, they're definitely going to be key in the development, and really particularly against the rush, be really physical and athletic, because that's that's our bread and butter. We're in the trenches. Mosiah Kite was a preseason All Big Ten selection, and he had last year 7 tackles. So I'm looking at things like that, and then just looking at, I think when you have those guys, especially when we're going to play against CJ Stroud or Aiden O'Connell, and the other quarterbacks of the Big Ten, painfully, they're going to have. We got to have a pass rush that is efficient and consistent, and that's going to be another key. I think if you allow those guys to have good games, that can hurt us as a defense. So I think look at the linebackers, which I still think is developing. Like I said, we got we got the 4-star recruit, which is good, but I think you're going to see more of the development there for sure. You also got Cowan he went to Alabama and West Virginia, so I don't think that hurts the linebacking core, but I think they should be a little bit better than what they were last year. Like when I look at Darrell, the biggest thing is he just got to stay healthy. That's it. But I believe Kowan and Vendarius and Jashawn, I think they'll be definitely key contributors for the Terrapins for sure. Now, when I look at this schedule, a couple things stand out. We are on the road painfully for 3 games. And what I did is I kind of predicted what it'll look like. So the first 3 weeks of college football for us are just warm-ups. Our biggest game of the year, I will say, is against Purdue because we have those Boilermakers come to College Park. And I think that would be key. Yes, Purdue on paper looks to be good this year. They do have some talent on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball, even though they did lose a few. Because when you look at not just them, Northwestern, SMU, Indiana, I think we can get Purdue. Now, I do know that this year we are going to take some lumps, and we look at Ohio State, Michigan. I don't see like a 63-10 loss. I don't see that because I will say that best case scenario, I'll say that I'm hold off on that. But I think one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that everyone isn't. There's going to be struggles. Like I think it's completely impossible that the offense just doesn't show up from what it was last year, and then does the defense take a step forward? I think I can't see that happening. I think that there's going to be some struggles, but I think as the season progresses, I think things will get better. When I look at the schedule, like I'm gonna start it. So we start off week 1, Buffalo. I predicted that we're going to win 31-14. Okay. Then we got week 2 at Charlotte. I predicted that'll win for us 38-10. Week 3, we play SMU. I gave it a prediction of 41-6. And then painfully, we go to Michigan. And I'm gonna predict it. It's a close one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I'll say Michigan is going to beat us by 7. And then we go to Michigan State. And I said, that's a loss. And then we got Purdue. I said, that's a loss as well. So right there, 500 right there on the money. Then Indiana, week 7. I predicted this is going to be a win. This is a prediction score. And then Northwestern, I think this is a win for sure. Wisconsin, I said this was a loss. And then we got Penn State, week 10. I said they're going to win. In week 11, we got Ohio State painfully. And then we finished the season off with Rutgers, and I said that's a win. And my prediction is we'll go 7-5, and we'll have an invitation to a bowl game. I predict that because I can definitely see it happening. I just think that this team just has so much talent and the potential's there, and you credit that to Coach Loxley But you credited those to the guys that have come back, the seniors, and just the willingness to just play football, but more importantly, just wanted to compete. Before Mike came in here, the program was just it was a disaster, honestly, truthfully. I think you're going to see a lot of things changed. Maryland's defense, being the third worst ranked defensive units last year in the Big Ten, I could see that changing. Coach Lockley hiring the new wide receiver coach. I think it's Gunter Brewer. I think he was with Purdue. He's credited developing Des Bryant and Randy Moss. Now you've got Demas, Jacob Copeland, and Rakeem Jarrett. The sky's the limit for these guys. And then he's got a practice. It's a good coaching staff that's a coaching staff that wants to instill winning, but also wants to instill confidence and leadership in these guys. And I like this coaching staff for sure. And like I said, for the most part, all the potential's there. It's just, are we as a team, as a coaching staff, as a program, are we willing to take that step? And I believe that. This has to be a really, really great year. But it all depends on how we do. I don't expect nothing more, nothing less. I expect the same thing to happen, but I expect it to be a good year, and I'm excited for it. You guys let me know how you think your college football team is going to do this year. That's going to conclude the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes. I'm excited for college football. It just goes by fast like that, but I can't really wait until college basketball starts for the Maryland Terrapins. You guys let me know your thoughts. How is your college football team looking this year? Who are you expecting to get to the national championship? And who is your surprise? I think it's too early to call it, but I'm going to say Cincinnati gets to the national championship.
Guaranteed.
I'm going to say that right there. Yeah. I'm confident with that pick. Closing message, like I said, be on the lookout for this episode to be released later this afternoon. Closing message, just again, thank you for the support that you've given me in this YouTube channel. It's been much appreciated. Like I said, be on the lookout for those other videos. They'll be out later tonight. And then tomorrow, Brendan Potts will be on here and we'll be chopping it up with the WNBA playoffs for after game 2. How is it looking? And our awards. So in the meantime, thank you again. Please like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace, y'all. Stay up.
But I get sick of these guys complaining. These young guys, they never call us and say, when a coach is wrong, I'm going to call him out. But when players are wrong, I'm going to call them out. Thanks for the kind words. But listen, I'm going to criticize guys if they deserve it. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bring your sports game on Big Nate Sports Talk.
Congrats for a hell of a finish and a hell of a start. I told you guys at the start of this bowl preparation that this wasn't the end of something. This was the start. And I can't thank the seniors enough for the foundation that you guys have laid. And I hope you young guys see and understand what true preparation looks like. When you individually get better, we get better collectively. Now, This is just the beginning, man. This is just the beginning for us. This is not our standard. Our standard is to get the bowl games, but ultimately what we want to do is build a championship team. And it's going to take hard work. And I think you guys understand that. The best is truly ahead, and it's because of the seniors and what you guys have left, but also the young guys that came and made some plays today, man. You young boys really did a great job. So let's do this, man. For those seniors, let's sing that song one more time for those seniors. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and
Maryland, we're all behind you. Raise high the black and gold. There's nothing else so glorious as to see our team victorious. We got the team boys, we got the team boys. Keep fighting, don't give in. L-A-R-L-A-S-D, Maryland will win. Woo!
Hey guys, listen up. When you're old, you get to do something very special. I got the game ball here. It goes to a guy named Michael Loxley for his first bowl win.
It's not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame me. Like you have no options. I ain't take your options. Nah, I'm not the problem. Man, that's on you, yeah. You've been terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong. I knew you lost your mind when you dropped that bomb.